How's it going, YouTube? This is a guy in the back seat from DoomVeilerGames, here with my segment 5 of my Yu-Gi-Oh! For Dummies. This segment involves all these cards here, and if you know Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know what I'm about to talk about. And if you don't know Yu-Gi-Oh!, then you probably have no earthly idea what all these 6 cards have in common. So let's get started. This video is called Understanding Costs. Now, I'm going to begin with 2 cards that are spells that both have the same exact cost. One destroys any monster on the field, one destroys all face-up monsters on your opponent's field. 2 very good cards. Tribute to the Doomed used to actually be mained in almost everybody's deck, so old school players, rejoice. Look, he's making a mulligan. Anyway, and Lightning Vortex is still sided, you know, for people that play against 6-Ams and stuff like that. But the point is, you have 2 cards here that both state at the beginning of their effect, discard 1 card from your hand. There's a period after that. Okay? Okay, so just to put it in perspective for you, Konami likes to put stuff, like if there's any stipulation for a card's effect to go off, it states at the beginning what the stipulation is. That effect is known as a cost. If you aren't familiar with what a cost means, a cost is unavoidable. So if you activate Lightning Vortex, you have to discard a card no matter what happens after Lightning Vortex activates. You can activate Lightning Vortex and they can chain with Magic Jammer. They can discard a card and negate Lightning Vortex, and you still had to discard a card. Same with Tribute to the Doomed. You can activate Tribute to the Doomed, you have to discard a card, and then after that card is discarded, the effect goes off to destroy 1 monster on the field, or in this case, destroy all face-up monsters on your opponent's field. Either way, you have to discard a card with these cards. Now, just to make things perfectly clear, neither one of these cards has the power to play beige. Beige says when this card is discarded through a card effect, you may special summon this card from your graveyard. Both of these cards state with a cost to discard a card. So if you discard beige, you don't get to special summon. Now, to put in perspective what the difference is between a cost and an effect, you have a card like Dark World Lightning. Now, Dark World Lightning states, target 1 face-down card on the field and destroy it. Then both players discard a card. Because of the statement of the word then, this card is now not a cost to discard. It is a carry out post-resolution, meaning that if they Magic Jammer this card, or Solemn this card, or stop this card in any way, you don't get to discard. On these cards, you have to discard. That's the difference. Costs are mandatory. You can't avoid a cost. Cost must happen. Cost happens if the card's negated. Cost happens if the card's destroyed. Cost happens regardless. In this case, you would destroy a set card, then discard beige, and then special summon beige. Because beige was special summoned because it was discarded through the effect of Dark World Lightning. It may sound a little confusing, but the next segment, right now, should clear things up. The next 2 cards we're going to show are Divine Wrath and Solemn Judgment. Both of these cards are extremely powerful. With both set, you can effectively stop any player from doing anything twice in 1 turn. Awesome. You can negate effects, you can negate card plays. Either way, you're stopping something. Both of these cards have a cost. Cost for Divine Wrath is the same as our before mentioned friends here, Lightning Vortex and Tribute to the Doomed. Discard 1 card. Whoops. The cost for Solemn Judgment is a bit steeper, or if you look at it, you know, from the glass half full, half empty perspective, Solemn Judgment says pay half your life points, which could be as little as 100 or as much as 4,000. But the benefit of Solemn is that it's always activatable, which is why everybody plays, almost everybody plays at least 1. The point here is that if you activate Solemn Judgment and the opponent activates Solemn Judgment, you both lost half your life points. Did you get that? Solemn's half life point payment, is mandatory. Divine Wrath's discard is mandatory. So both of these effects carry out post the costs payment. If you don't have a card to discard for Divine Wrath, you can't activate it. You always have life points, so you can always activate Solemn. A card to show an example of a difference in these two cards is Dark Bribe. Now, Dark Bribe is a counter trap, and it says you can negate a spell or trap card. Then your opponent draws one card. The point here is that if they Solemn, let's say you activate Divine Wrath, or I activate Divine Wrath on you, and you activate Solemn, and I react with Dark Bribe. The full sequence of the chain would be: I had to discard for Divine Wrath, you had to pay half your life points for Solemn, I negate Solemn, Solemn no longer happens, Divine Wrath happens, destroying your card. Then you will draw a card, because Dark Bribe is a final resolution effect. So, if you're playing a mirror match and you have 3 set and the opponent has 3 set, and you activate Dark Hole and the opponent Dark Bribes, and then you Dark Bribe, and then they Dark Bribe, and then you Dark Bribe, and then they Dark Bribe, and then you Dark Bribe, your opponent draws a card. One card. Because the effect of this card is only carried out after it negates a card. And it only happens as the final resolution. The final player to activate Dark Bribe, the opponent of that player gets to draw. That's how that works, if you didn't know. And if there's a Solemn matchup, because I've played somebody on Duel Network recently where they activated Solemn Warning, paid 2,000 life points to negate my summon, I changed Solemn Judgment to negate their Solemn Warning, they changed Solemn Judgment to my Solemn Judgment, and I changed Dark Bribe. They said that they had 8,000 life points still. And I said, no, you have 3,000 life points and you get to draw a card. And they threw a big fit and rage quit. You need to understand that costs are mandatory. No matter how much they get stopped, a cost happens. This is why when 3 Solemns was legal, people were maining Bait Doll. But that's a story for another day. I hope that helps you understand costs a little more. And stay tuned for part 6 for Yu-Gi-Oh! For Dummies. This is Guy in the Back Seat. Find me on Duel Network if you like.